Welcome. This is the Sus-essful podcast. This is episode 3 for you guys. A lot of feedback, a lot of people liking it, so we're gonna keep it going. Yeah, where do we start?
I guess we can cover UFC London because that was a pretty amazing event, especially for a non-pay-per-view event. I know we both did very well on our picks. I went 3-0 on mine, and then I also rode with one of the ones B chose in Jack Shore. So we can cover him a little bit. The first one I want to talk about is Paul Craig versus Nikita Krylov. This is one that I picked the underdog in Paul Craig. I think he was a plus 175 to like a plus 190-ish, depending on what
Plus
book you had.
175,
Yeah. And then he was pretty much getting dogged, getting beat. Some people thought he even got knocked out for a second.
I thought when I was watching it live, I thought he got knocked out because I bet on that also because you told me that bet. And it
Yeah.
looked like his eyes like kind of went back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he looked a little like out of it. But he hung in there, and then later in the first round, he snuck a triangle. And a side note too, he has the most subs in light heavyweight history, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that was one that I got right. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
yeah, I was happy I bet it. I low-key got scared though, and I was like, oh my God, like why did I listen to JT?
Yeah.
Because he was just getting rocked and he wasn't doing anything. And then he's so dangerous on his back that he just caught him. It was beautiful, honestly. Beautiful jiu-jitsu. But yeah, that was a good winner. Jack Shore you talked about, that was a good winner.
I thought that was kind of close too. He was like
Yeah,
losing,
it was
or he
weird
lost
because
the first for sure.
it was unanimous.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be split. When they said unanimous, I kind of got scared because I thought he lost the first as well. But he picked it up crazy in like the second and third, the third mostly.
The third one, yeah.
Could have been a 10-8 round.
Yep. Yeah. Could have been.
But yeah, I bet it on also Mohammed Mokev. That was an easy winner.
That was one of the first fights, right?
Yeah,
or
it was the very first fight. And he subbed him less than a minute in the first fight, in the first round.
Okay.
I think that got a performance of the night bonus as well. And then same with Paul Craig. What else did we bet? I think that was it for the prelims. For the main card, we could work our way up. Jai Herbert and Ilya. Yeah.
Ilya Topuria. He was Topuria was like a minus 400 to minus 500, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I didn't bet on it. I stayed away from it because it was his first fight at light heavyweight. I don't know if he's going to stay there or if he's going to go back down to 145 in his future fights, but yeah, I personally stayed away from it. Also, the guy he was fighting was a champ in a different organization, so I stayed away from it. He was getting pieced up in the first round. I think he got a takedown. And then in the second round, he got a vicious KO. The dude's eyes rolled to the back of his head.
That knockout was crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
I bet on that. But moving up, Molly Meatball McLean.
That was wild.
McCann, sorry. That fight was crazy. That was probably, crazy. I think, knockout of the year so far.
Yeah, I think so too. She like caught the knee or caught the kick or whatever, and then hit a spinning elbow right on the chin.
It was so perfect. It landed so flush too, and it was just like the way she got knocked out was crazy.
Yeah, the way she fell. Yeah.
She also got a performance of the night bonus.
And the crowd like went crazy. I mean, they were crazy all night, but the UK, like the atmosphere, it's just so wild.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was so hyped for the fight, and I just had like the volume all the way up because just the crowd just crazy. I don't think either of us betted on the Gunnar Nelson one, right?
No, I didn't. I think he was
he was like 500 plus minus favorite. The Patty one though, I think we both bet on. I don't know if you did.
I didn't bet on that one.
I also bet like the when I talked about in the last podcast, like him winning by finish. So that hit. So that's good. Anyone bet that.
Wasn't it like didn't she say it was like 120 or something?
It was minus, I think it was like 180, but it was way better odds than his normal. That was like minus like 600 to 700.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, we could talk more about that fight. That fight was kind of crazy.
So we got clipped off the first like exchange,
which like, but I was worried about.
Like, it wasn't like a crazy like he didn't get hurt. I feel like it was just like a flash.
He didn't like wobble.
Yeah,
you could tell it like caught him. I kind of got scared for a sec, but I mean, I guess that's how he said. I saw an interview. He said he did an interview with like Barstool, and he was saying that like his coach always says that like he needs to get hit to like wake up and like like the fight's
That's
on.
That's a terrible.
Yeah. But like when he was on his back too, he got up, got off good, and then when he got in that like clinch, he did that nice takedown, like judo flip.
The throw,
was, like,
that
beautiful.
was sick.
And then like once he got his back, it was over. Patty's nasty. With the jiu-jitsu.
So he won by a rear naked choke. And then this week he came out, or a couple days ago, he came out and said that he commented on like a report about how much the fighters got paid, and he was like, I wish I got paid that much. It was like 100,000 or something. And then I think it was today he actually said how much he got paid, and
it was on Dave Portnoy's show.
Yeah, it was $12K to show and then $12K to win, and then luckily he got the bonus. The $50K bonus. So
it's kind of crazy. The bonus is like way more than he even made. Yeah, $12K to show up, and like if you would have lost, and if you would have like lost like not got a bonus, imagine just only getting $12K for that. And the whole most of the arena was there for him.
Yeah,
he was like by far the main attraction for that
training
fight.
Like crazy. 2 to 4 months, like almost every day, just to get $12K.
So Dave talked about it on that too, and he said that like when they signed him, the signing thing, whatever, I don't know, I guess the whole contract, it was 7 figures. So it's like low-key way more than he's making in the UFC.
Damn.
Like it's good for him then. Yeah. And then they're trying to sign Molly to a deal with Barstool as well. So that'll be kind of cool because they're low-key a dope personality.
Yeah.
Like that look cool. But we can move on. The one that we were split on last time was the Arnold Allen and Dan Hooker. I went Dan Hooker and you went Arnold Allen. You could start off talking about it.
Yeah, so it ended up being like a pick 'em, I think, when the odds got closer to the fight. I was with you too. I was kind of thinking Hooker, and then when we got on the pod, I decided to go with Allen. I felt like his trajectory is going up. He's the younger fighter, and then he had more ways to win. He got the TKO in round 1. It was like a standing TKO. Like Hooker didn't even drop. He just kind of curled up in a ball against the fence. But yeah, I mean, he looked good, but also Hooker didn't really. It was
painful to watch because I was like literally, I put like a big parlay in the one I talked about on the pod, and like that was the last leg of it. And I did another one when I added Tom Aspinall after we talked, but that one was like gonna win me the most money. And like literally, as soon as it starts, he just starts getting caught, and you're like, this is over. Like I lost my money. Like before he even caught him, like it was like because Allen started like coming in hard and like kind of was less protective. And then Dan actually caught him with like a shot, but then he just went back to getting absolutely just pieced up. That was so painful to watch.
And that was the only fight you got wrong, right, on the night?
Yeah.
What'd you go on the night? Like what, 4-1 or 5-1?
6. I took Aspinall after you told me. Dan Hooker, I lost at 1-1. Patty 2-1. I didn't bet on Molly. I should have. I bet on Ilya, so it's 3-1. And then I think I had 3 on the prelims because I had Paul Craig, you told me, Jack Shore, and then Muhammad Mako. So I went 6-1 on the night. So I made money. It was a really good card. But yeah, if that parlay would have hit, it would have been nice but I should have took your word with Allen.
Yeah. And then I went 3-0 on the picks from our last episode. So combined we went like close to 10-1. Yeah, 9-1, 10-1, something.
And the one I got wrong, you got right. So honestly, with any that we didn't disagree with, we got them all right. And then we could talk about Tom Aspinall. That fight was crazy too.
Yeah.
I wasn't too familiar with Tom, but I trusted you. And boy, were you right. He was so much better. Just on both like the ground and like his hands. It was just crazy.
Yeah, I was so shocked at like how he was only -130, or when I got him, he was at -130. I mean, I guess because Volkov has the experience and he's fought like top heavyweight fighters, but I don't know. I just feel like Aspinall is the real deal. And I mean, the only thing bad about what happened is that we still didn't get to see him go past like 2-3 rounds.
Yeah, like going to deep water, but he looked so good. It was so like, I don't know. He just looked levels better.
Yeah, even on the feet, he had so many like fast boxing
He was so much
combinations.
quicker. I was just like, this
Yeah,
is unreal. Like, this is not a fair matchup.
and
Like,
then
the odds
literally,
for 130 was crazy still. Like,
yeah, and then literally the first takedown, he got him to the ground and then finished him. And then after the fight, we can talk about that. They asked him who he wants next, and usually I don't think he's really called anyone out before. He's like wanted to take his time with the process, like we talked about in the last episode. And then this time he actually called out Tai Tuivasa, which I think is a great matchup for him. And it'll be a fun fight.
yeah, like it's weird though. Like I think we were texting as soon as it happened and like during the fight, and we're like, oh, like we wonder like who's next, like who makes sense, and we really didn't know. And then when he said Ty, we're like, whoa, like that's a
Yeah.
good fight. That'd be crazy, especially I know we'll talk about it. But if they have like another fight in the UK, that'd be crazy.
That'd be sick.
But
yeah, in the presser after the card, like B said, so Dana came out and said that the atmosphere was electric and like the card like performed way better than everyone thought. And so he basically said like that he's guaranteeing they're going to come back to the UK again this year. He was like, I don't care what the schedule looks like I want to come back here. So I thought that was pretty cool because like they have a lot of fighters and their country rides for them. So it's awesome.
So one thing that was kind of crazy, like the O2, how electric it was, that's not even close to like the biggest arenas. And like they usually use like football arenas because it's usually the most popular thing out there.
Yeah.
But I think the O2's capacity, I looked it up, it's only 20,000, which is kind of crazy. But we'll talk about it a little bit. I know you put that like where would you want to see like another card take place, like a pay-per-view, you know?
Yeah.
But so like Liverpool Football Club, they have Anfield, which is their stadium. And that's in Liverpool, and that's where like Patty's, you know, like all your reps and everything. So that stadium's 53,394. So it's like more than double. Yeah. But it's the seventh largest football stadium in England. Wembley, which is the number one, is 90K capacity. So
damn,
I don't know, because if you look at Liverpool, the fans, if it's a Patty fight, that would be insane. Or even like Till and Patty on the same card would be nuts. But even Wembley with like 90K, the fans they'll get over there, even though it's like kind of not located near the same. But 90K capacity would be nuts.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I think Liverpool makes sense. So
that's dope. Mine was kind of out of the UK for where I would want to see a card take place. I still want to see one in Hawaii because I feel like the Hawaiian fighters like deserve it, especially like Max Holloway.
Yeah,
but
they have a lot of like, that's crazy because now they're doing more in like New Zealand,
Australia,
and then they always have the Brazil fighters that like can always make a dope card. And even Mexican, they always have like dope Mexican fighters cards. I kind of like it when they do like Mexican fights in like LA or like
because it's nearby too.
And like they have like a large demographic of the population.
For sure.
But another news, I think the last thing we talk about, the Colby and Masvidal.
Crazy. So some stuff came out today or yesterday. I think it was last night actually. Some stuff went down with Covington and Masvidal in Miami. I guess Covington was at a restaurant, ended up leaving, and Masvidal found out where he was and pretty much sucker punched him. Fractured his tooth, messed up his eye, and then the cops were called, and I think he's facing like felony charges or something wild. But no one caught it on video.
That's what I'm saying. I saw one of them like walking out. I think they were like walking out of the building, and like Masvidal was like waiting behind a car or something, and when they like passed him, he came from behind and like swung. And you know who they were with? And I think that's the reason that Colby got caught.
I think I know who you're going to say.
Or it was like the Bob Menery or whatever and like Nelk or whatever. They were like together and they were posting heck of things. I think they did an interview with Colby, and then they probably just went out that night on like a Monday. And I saw like Bob, I think he took it down, but like he posted like 5 different stories in a row, like where they're at and like drinking and like at dinner. And like Masvidal, you know, like he's in Miami, so it's like I'm sure it was like, oh, I know where he's at, you know, or he got a bunch of people texted him probably or like sent him it. And it's like, oh, this is where Colby at, like if you want to catch him. So yeah, you kind of got to be careful when you're like a celebrity and post where you're at, I feel like.
So what are your thoughts on that? Because I know like obviously Kobe fans are like, oh, Masvidal is in the wrong because he already got his ass beat pretty much in the fight, shouldn't have done anything.
Yeah,
like in the real world. But then people are like on Masvidal's side saying like Kobe Covington shouldn't have been talking about his kids, and like Masvidal said he would do something to him if he saw him in person. Which I mean,
yeah. So it's like, I get that. Like if Masvidal sees him in public and they see each other and then they fight, that's one thing. But him like blindsiding him is kind of pussy to me, like sucker punching. Like on the video I saw, they were walking out and like his back was turned. So like if a professional fighter in a UFC like striker hits you in the face when you're not expecting it with no like gloves or no mouthpiece or nothing, like you're gonna fuck up your teeth or like, you know. So I think that's expected. But like I'm sure Jorge probably, I saw in the video that he posted, he had his hand behind his back.
Oh really?
Yeah, so he probably fucked up his hand too. You could like break your wrist or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of like, I get it if you guys were like talking in public and you've seen each other and then you fight, like, all right, then you do it. But like blindsiding and like cheap shots, like kind of pussy to me. Like if you really want to like beat his ass, like have him look at you or like, you know what I mean, see you coming, and like that's more respectable. But yeah, and like bro, you had 25 minutes in an octagon in a cage locked with them and you got your ass whipped, outstruck, out wrestled, out everything.
I'm with you. I'm with you on all that. Except, do I feel bad for Kobe?
No, I don't feel bad.
He kind of learned his lesson. I mean,
yeah,
he's probably won't stop, but
kind of sucks though. He'll probably stop going out more.
But yeah, we can move on to a little bit of NFL free agency. Couple of things happened. First thing, Matt Ryan went to the Colts. What do you think of that move?
Yeah, so we were talking for a while that the Colts were gonna like need to make a move for a quarterback. We talked about Baker, maybe we talked about Jimmy. Matt Ryan, I guess it makes sense. You get like a veteran in there. I don't know if Matt Ryan's that much better than Jimmy. I know I'm gonna sound crazy or might get hate for that, but I don't think Matt Ryan's that good, like at all. Like I think he's kind of washed. It was one, like they had their run and like I feel like he's way past his prime. I don't know. I just don't know but who knows? Maybe with a new system and, you know, the elite defense, they can
better line.
Yeah, exactly. Better probably younger receivers. So with Pittman and, you know, other guys. So we'll see. It was kind of funny that like the Colts were like disinterested in Baker. I just think that's funny. Like everyone I've seen is like no one wants him.
I know.
That's and then wild. I saw a thing that the Colts, one of the reasons that the Colts were skeptical was because Jimmy was like having surgery in the offseason and that like he might miss beginning of the year and like OTAs and stuff. And they wanted a new, if you're going to be a new quarterback in their team, they wanted him to be healthy. So like in the OTAs and like, you know, offseason.
Get like live reps and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. So I don't know, but like with everything coming down to the Niners, like in Jimmy G, it's kind of important. Like I don't really like the moves they're making, and they're letting a lot of key guys go. Like DJ Jones is like an underrated defensive tackle, but like if you watch plays of him, like he's so good. And then he signed with the Broncos, and then also the Broncos just got K'Wan Williams, who was like our like slot corner and like lockdown. Like he was like literally one of the best statistically like slot corners in the leagues, and like losing him's huge. Losing DJ Jones is huge. The people that they're upgrading with, I don't really like. So we'll see. And then like also like if you don't get Jimmy off the roster, like that is like terrible, because like we already went through like the goodbye and like the press conference and like everything. Now is like his contract's gonna be on our cap, and it's just like Trey Lance is gonna have to split reps. Like that doesn't make sense. Like
Trey Lance lose, to be honest.
Exactly. like him being there only hurts us. I know like if something happened to Trey Lance, like he got injured or something, then we have like a backup we know we can win with. But I don't know. I don't like it. I wish we would have got rid of Jimmy earlier and then got like a good backup that we trust, like Tyrod Taylor or like someone that I know could win games, but like let Trey Lance shine. Like Trey Lance shouldn't be splitting reps, and he's gonna. If I don't know what teams are left that like he can go to.
Yeah.
And like he's gonna like either have to take a pay cut or we're gonna have to release him. And if we don't do either, it's a big L because like that's just not good for the locker room.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can move on. Our boy got signed, Marcus Mariota, Atlanta Falcons. I think it was like a 2-year deal. I think. I like it because he shouldn't have competition there, and he should start unless they draft a quarterback, which honestly they might do, and have Mariota be like a bridge quarterback.
I mean, they could draft and get him some weapons now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they need to do. If they don't get a receiver with their first or second round pick, like what are you doing? Because I don't even know who's lining up a receiver. Cordell Patterson's gonna run running back, receiver, tight end.
Patterson. They have Pitts. They have a couple of good guys. Obviously, Ridley's going to be out.
Patterson, yeah.
But yeah,
they lost Russell Gage.
Still needs some.
They cut Julio. Now Calvin Ridley's out. I hope Calvin Ridley can come back. That'd be huge. Because if they got like Ridley back, like maybe he misses like 3 or 4 games. But right now, there's no look for that even being true.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like hypothetically, and they get like I don't know, Chris Olave or your boy London or like any of those would be good, really good to pair up with Ridley and then have Kyle Pitts in the middle and then Patterson at running back. It wouldn't be terrible for him, but it's gonna. I feel like he might not succeed to the best of his capabilities with just like. I think we all know like Atlanta's not like a good destination to go.
Yeah.
Like right now, like they're rebuilding, and like they're not
but
even
also that division is kind of wide open right now. So
that is true.
So there's a shot, but yeah, as a Raider fan, I selfishly wanted him to stay. Even that one game 2 years ago when Carr got hurt against the Chargers and he came in and relieved him and almost won the game. Like he played his ass off. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad we both get to see him get a second shot because we both believe in him and he's a stud. But
yeah, and we know we could throw and do that. Like I feel like every time I seen him in for the Raiders last year, it was like a quarterback run or like a option or something. Like I want to see him throw.
Yeah, they used him in a different way than. Yeah.
But yeah, so I saw another thing. But yeah, the Broncos got better. They signed another like slot corner with K1. And then I saw a thing on Twitter. It was like OBJ open to returning to Cleveland now that Baker's gone. I feel like that'd be so funny because I feel like he likes Deshaun Watson. So who knows if he doesn't go back to the Rams? Like, I don't know. Maybe recover and try to make a playoff push. But
that'd be funny. Yeah. But yeah, we can move on to March Madness. Round 2 wrapped up. We can kind of cover those games. So same thing. We're not going to go by the schedule of how the games were played. We're just going to go from the bracket left side down, and then we're going to go right side down. So first we had Gonzaga versus Memphis. I think we both thought it could have gone like this. A really close game. Memphis played physical. They were actually up by, I forget the exact amount, but they were up at half. A couple notes from me. Timmy had 4 points at the half, and then in the second half he scored 21.
Yeah.
And then he also finished with 14 boards. And then an interesting matchup in that game was Jalen Duran versus Chet Holmgren, which are 2 lottery picks. Duran had 7 points, 7 boards. Only shot 3 for 11 from the field. And then Chet had 9 points, 9 boards, 4 blocks, 4 for 7 from the field. So that was a pretty good matchup defensively. Yeah, Gonzaga won 82-78, by the way. So if you have any thoughts on the game.
So I feel like you covered most of it. Things that I might chime in. Memphis didn't shoot the 3 ball that good, which I feel like could have won them the game. They shot 4 for 19.
Yeah.
So if they would even shot even a little bit better, I think they could have won that game.
Yeah.
And one thing, Gonzaga 9 from 27 from 3, which is like whatever. They still won, but one thing to note is they shot 13 for 24 from the free throw line, 54%. So
Oof.
I feel like
we talked about that I think you talked about that last episode too.
Yeah. So like they only won by 4 points. They do, and like if they keep playing like this, they're gonna lose to a team eventually if a team slows them down, and then they can't convert at the free throw line. So that's a big thing. But yeah, also we'll talk about later. But Drew Timmy, but yeah, played really good in the second half. Kind of took over.
I thought his post game interview that kind of went viral was pretty funny. How he was like kind of tiptoeing around all the cuss words. But anyways, the next game who Gonzaga will be playing against is Arkansas versus New Mexico State. Arkansas won another close game. It was 53-48. They actually did a really good job of slowing down Teddy Allen, who had a crazy game in the first round. They held him to 5 for 16 from the field. I also have here that Arkansas struggled as well. They only shot 27% from the field and 19% from 3. So they definitely have to be better on the offensive side if they want to be able to beat Gonzaga. Yeah,
they shot bad. But yeah, I think we talked about this last time. And when we said our picks, I said Arkansas because I thought they would. I didn't think Allen would have that good of a game, and I know he'd have to have a breakout game again to win. But yeah, even Arkansas, they didn't play good. But one thing that they did do was 22 for 25 at the free throw line in a close game again. That wins you games. But yeah, Allen, he shot 5 for 16, which is like not good, especially like he was like their best offensive player. So I think Arkansas was going in like we can't let them, we got to shut them down.
Yeah.
So they did, and they won the game, and they made their free throws. So I think they need to clean up their, their threes and other things, but their free throws, help win that game. But yeah, that's all I got for that.
For sure.
So
all
we
right,
were
the
2
next
for
game,
2 on the picks. So Gonzaga and Arkansas.
Next game was Notre Dame versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech won 59-53. This one was also a close game. Couple things not necessarily about the game, but a player on Texas Tech. So on the season, Obanor, who transferred from Oral Roberts, he averaged 10 points and 5 rebounds on the season this year. And I read a tweet that in his last 5 NCAA tournament games, he's averaged 19 points and 12 rebounds. So he elevates his game, or he has elevated his game in the tournament. So I feel like he'll be a really good X factor for them. And then this was another game where Texas Tech showcased their defense, like we talked about in the last game. So Notre Dame averages 73 points per game on the season, and Texas Tech held them to only 53, which is like 20 points less than their average. So Texas Tech's defense. Any thoughts on this game?
Literally everything you said I agree on. But yeah, like he was an X factor for that game, especially like down in the second half. And like he was an X factor for Oral Roberts. I think that's a good transfer for him. I remember a thing, I think I saw they were talking during the game that I don't think he played, or like I don't know if he made the team in like high school or something like that, and he like rode bench senior year or something like that. And like the announcer, like he didn't get recruited at all, and they're like, whoever recruited down there needs to get fired or something, they said, which is funny. But yeah, he's been an X factor for them, and I think that's a really good transfer because he can. Oral Roberts had limitations on how far they could go, but Texas Tech has all, like, they can go as far as they can compete with any of these teams. So yeah, but Notre Dame played good. They hung in there for 11 seed, like, and they won that playing game. So yeah, it's good. But yeah, Texas Tech, they play Duke next, but we'll see.
Yep. And then so next game, so Duke beat Michigan State 85-76. So Michigan State actually shot really good from 3, 50%. It was 11 for 22. And in their last 4 games or 3 games before that, they shot 27%, 28%, and 9%. So they had their best game from 3, and they still lost. So that just tells you how good Duke is. And then Paolo Banchero was the leading scorer for Duke. He had 19, 7, and 4. And then I'll ask a quick question after you cover this game.
Yeah, I think the X factor was that Duke had the best player in the country, and probably Paolo Banchero, probably be the number one pick the way he's been playing. I think the way that he just took over the game because the score doesn't reflect how close they won by 9, but this was like a tie game going, like end of the game, like they were just going back and forth, and just the way that he like took over. Like Coach K made sure to get him the ball in the hands, and he was just making plays, whether it was from like the pick and roll or just like ISOs and hitting threes, and just like the way he just like slowed the game down. You just saw the levels and like the passes he was making. There was a couple passes he made that I don't even think he counted for assists, but they're like they got fouled or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was just elite. I think he's the reason they won. Even on the defensive side. We talked about it before, but like he's not usually that good on defense. And then when they needed to, because they were going to lose that game to Michigan State, he just took over. So that was my biggest takeaway. It was him. He just took over, and
So I was actually going to ask a question. I was going to ask, where would you rank him among the top 3 prospects, along with Chet and Jabari Smith?
I don't know. It's weird. I think like. Just the way that he had the ball in his hands. I don't know if any of the other players can do it. Maybe Jabari Smith, but like Chet's weird too, because Chet's like a unicorn, just like his body frame, and like he can do it all. But like, I don't know. Part of me thinks like at the next level, like I don't know if he has that. Like, it's weird because they're different positions too. Like Paulo kind of reminds me of like. I know they don't play the same, but like. When Braun gets in like a good mode, and like I'm not saying he's Braun, but like when Braun gets in that like point forward mode, and like he can just like he can score, he can assist, he can attack the basket because he's so big. Like he's 6'10", like he was just hitting like crossover mid-range jumpers, and he was just I don't know, it was just so impressive. So I think I would rank Chet 3rd, and then Paulo 1st, and then Jabari Smith 2nd.
Okay.
But then again, like Trent could be like, I just don't know with him because he's so skinny and like.
Yeah. I don't know. They're all pretty good, but I think I'd go Chet, and then I'd go Paulo, and then I'd go Jabari Smith. But we'll see closer as it gets closer to the draft. I'm with you on the same thing for Paulo. Like his bag is definitely deeper than the other 2, and he can he can handle the rock better than them, and make plays better. But I don't know, I feel like Chet, like on the defensive end, he can just be an anchor.
That is true. That is true.
And a lot of teams need that. But I don't know, we'll see.
Go like coast to coast, he can do it all.
Yeah.
Hit the long ball. It's weird,
yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I just want to see him match up against NBA talent.
Yeah, for sure.
NBA dudes that are that, you know what I mean? Or like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what he would do if like he ever got like a Draymond lined up on him, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or like even like those bigs that are just like versatile. So I just want to see that, but yeah, we can move on.
Yeah. So I think we were 4 for 4 going into this next region.
Yeah, dude.
So Baylor versus North Carolina. North Carolina won 93-86. Like we said, their lack of depth was going to catch up to them eventually, and I feel like that's what happened with Baylor. They got into foul trouble, and we're really missing LJ Cryer and their big man. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. I'm gonna just say Jonathan.
Yeah,
but
I don't even know either.
And then also on North Carolina, RJ Davis went off. He couldn't miss. But yeah, I don't know. North Carolina looked pretty scary.
Yeah. It's weird though how Baylor came back and like Baylor almost won that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like most of the game, UNC just looked better. I think they surprised a lot of people. They shot 44% and held Baylor to 24% from the field goal on both of them. So it's kind of weird. Like you would think the opposite from Baylor's defense, but they just broke it down, and I feel like they couldn't miss. And yeah, UNC's been playing lights out, and they out rebounded Baylor, which is like they were just out hustling them. I felt like they were getting so many like offensive boards and like people weren't boxing out on Baylor, and it was just like I don't know. But at the end of the game, Baylor could have won that game. So it's kind of crazy.
What was the biggest lead? Wasn't it like 25 or 26 or something?
Yeah, and that they cut it. They went to OT, right? Or am I tripping?
Yeah.
And I had Baylor on my bet, and they were like one of my parlays I needed, and that was a big loss. I think we both got that wrong. I don't think we both expected that from UNC. That was our first one we got wrong.
Yep, I had Baylor too. But moving on to the next game, the 4-5 matchup, St. Mary's versus UCLA. So this was actually one of my more confident plays of the second round. I felt like St. Mary's, you know how high I was on them.
Yeah.
But so St. Mary's had 0 bench points. So I feel like that was a factor in this loss. They lost, I don't know if I already said 72-56. But also UCLA's defense really surprised me. I didn't think they were going to be able to shut them down like that. Especially their guards. I feel like they couldn't get any penetration like they normally do, because Kuzi usually runs that pick and roll and gets penetration. Either he's so crafty, like on the inside, he can finish around the rim, or he kicks it out to their corner guys and they just knock down the 3. But he couldn't get any penetration. They were just swarming him. But yeah, UCLA surprised me.
Yeah. That was the one that we split on, but I'm so mad. I did like a crazy parlay, and JT was so high on St. Mary's that I was like, all right, I'll take him. And it was like a crazy, like plus, what was the odds? Like, I think it was like $10 to win $5,000. And I had everything right from the UFC fights and then March Madness. And I said UCLA on here. I was sticking with UCLA on the thing, but I betted St. Mary's last minute. And I'm so mad I did. But yeah, your boy Kuz, that you said, one of the most underrated guards in the country.
Yeah.
1 from 7 from 3, 5 for 13, had a bad game. St. Mary's shot 40% from field goal, and UCLA 56, and their defense really stepped up. But yeah, we said this last time. We said UCLA was going to need to step up or they're going to get bounced, and they woke up, played good. Yeah. I don't have anything much to say.
Cool. Moving on to the next game, we got Purdue versus Texas. We both picked Purdue, which they won 81-71. Only thing I got is Trevion Williams coming off the bench. He had 22 and 7. I think he's the best big man passer in college basketball. He has that old school style of basketball. You know, he's
kind of reminded me of like a Zach Randolph. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But like the way he would just and the way he was passing was like elite. Yeah.
I would like him so much more if he wasn't on Purdue, and also he could start on like 90% of other teams. Yeah. And then an interesting stat I wrote down: Texas shot 7 of 12 for free throws, and then Purdue shot 33 of 46.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember, I think the announcer said it during the game or like the end of the game, like the free throw difference, and I was like, yeah, wow. But yeah, that's how you win games. You got to get to the free throw line. But yeah, I think we both knew that Texas was not like they were gonna lose. Also, that big on Purdue, the Asian dude, I hella like him. Yeah, he's solid. But yeah,
it's like when we draft those dudes in 2K who are just so tall and they barely jump just to. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Moving on to Murray State versus St. Peter's. St. Peter's pulled off another upset, 70-60. I know you rode with St. Peter's. I rode with Murray State. Yeah, I don't know. Murray State was 31 and 2 on the season before this. So I don't know. I feel like I still would have chose Murray State like 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10. So their 2 best players, Tevin Brown and KJ Williams, combined for 7 for 26, which was 20% from the field. So St. Peter's did a great job of shutting those 2 guys down. That's all I got for this game.
Yeah, this was actually the one that like I was actually like pretty confident in, which is weird for how big of underdogs they were. I'm telling you, like the way I watched them and they beat Kentucky, I'm like, bro, like they can beat Murray too. Even though like it might have been like a weirder matchup, but like I'm like, dude, like the athletes and like recruits that like Kentucky has, like these guys, like they just like literally from top to bottom on their team, I just feel like they're dogs. And like I said this last time, but like hungry dog runs faster. Like that's just how they are. And like they're out like them beating Kentucky literally like gave them the mindset and the confidence of like, all right, we can compete with any team here. And like their coach, I like. I know you saw the quote too. He said of like, I got guys from like New York and New Jersey. Like these teams try to scare us. Like we're not, like we're not scared of anyone. Like we do the scaring. And like, I just love to see that from like a coach. They shot 41% from field goal and hold Murray to 34%, which is like, just like their defense has been like underrated this tourney. And like, that's what they're winning like these games, and it's mostly on their defense. And then also Doug Edert for the bench, he had another good game, 4 for 6. And they out rebounded Murray. And like you look at them and they don't really have like the athletes and the size, but they just got dogs and like that mentality. So we'll see. They got a tough matchup with Purdue and their size. So
I was gonna get into that a little bit later. So the next game going into the South region, it was Arizona versus TCU. So I think we can both agree that this was the best game of the second round, and it was the last game of the second round too.
Almost ended our friendship.
B was sweating a little bit, but shout out to TCU. They played their asses off. Their 3 guys, O'Bannon, Lampkin, and Mike Miles, had a great game. But I think the real star in this game was on Arizona in Ben Mathurin.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
He showed out. He had 30 points and 8 assists. He didn't shoot that well from 3, only had 3 for 11. Another thing I wrote down was that there's a lot of gems this year that are second-year guys. You got Ben Mathurin, you got Jaden Ivey, Johnny Davis, Keegan Murray, just to name a few. And then their center, Christian Coloco, had 28 and 12. And then I think one thing that hurt them, where they need to be better, is their point guard, Kirk Kriisa. I know he's probably still not 100%, so he needs to get healthy if they want to win a championship.
I don't like that guy. I look at him and I'm like, how is this guy the point guard for the number 1 team in the country? Like arguably,
but he shot 1 for 10 from the field and from 3, so he only took 3-pointers, but he shot 1 for 10. So he needs to be better. But any thoughts on this one?
So we'll talk about, I wrote him down later for like one of the MVPs of the tourney, but Ben Mathurin, he wasn't like, he had 30, but like he wasn't even shooting that good from 3. I think he was 2 for 10, and then they were down by 3 with 14 seconds left and like no shot clock, and he hit that huge 3 that was like tied the game and just like literally tilted all the momentum to Arizona. Like it was crazy to watch. Such a clutch 3, nothing but net, like just fire. And like, for him to drop 30, and then in OT he had that putback dunk, which is like, or was it him
at the end, at the very end when they were up? That was their center, Coloco.
Okay, now I'm tripping. But like,
but he did have that poster.
That poster was crazy. That's what dunk I was thinking of. My bad, I got confused. But balled out. And that game, I think we talked about last time too. I said like TCU, like if Arizona plays bad, I said like TCU could beat them, but like I think Arizona will win, but it'll be close. But Arizona was up like 9 or 10, and like they had all the momentum, and they were the last leg of my parlay. And I was like, they offered me basically like all the money that I would win profit for the cash out. And I was like, oh, do I text JT? And I'm like, do I take it? And he's like, do you have balls or not? And I was like, all right. He made me feel dumb, so I just left it. I don't know why. I just had a bad feeling. And then all of a sudden, TCU just starts hitting 3. And then their big man, was it Big Eddie?
Lampkin, that dude kind of, I feel like he's the type of dude where like if he's not on your team, you hate him. Just because he's like I was
literally like, he reminded me of like me. But like, you know what I mean? Just I don't know, just like in like pickup basketball when I'm just like so much bigger than like little dudes, and I'll just like body them around and just get ones and flex on them. I was losing my mind. I was like, this dude literally is gonna be the reason we lose this game. And I honestly thought like we were losing this game, and I was so down bad. And then Arizona, like, they showed their clutchness at the end of the game to tie it. And then also, what do you think about like that? Do you think it was like a good no call, or like that when they pressed him at the half court and then they lost ball and he almost dunked it to win the game, like no time left?
I think it was a good no call. It was fine.
Yeah, I think it was a good no call. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna win like this. Like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think he just didn't see the shot clock, or he just tried to rush it, or
Who, the Mike Miles, when he got trapped?
no? Like after on the turnover, I don't know what player it was that tried to dunk it at Arizona for the buzzer when they got the steal.
I forget, to be honest.
But yeah, it was kind of, I don't know, because I saw a lot of people like, how do you not shoot that like earlier, like with the time running down? But like, I think in the moment when you get the steal, like you're looking down at the ball trying to pick it up, and you're just trying to go up, and like, you know, you see the clock's coming down, but I don't even know if you look up at the clock at that time. But yeah, crazy game, probably game of that round for sure.
Yeah, that was such a good game. Moving on, Houston beat Illinois 68-53. I think we both had Houston in this one.
Yeah.
Illinois is just, like we said, they run a 3-guard lineup with Kofi down low, but their shooters or their guards are really like one of their guys, Plummer, he had 2 back-to-back games this year where he had 26 points, and then the game right after that he had 5 points. So it's like that just shows you like they're all over the place. But Houston looked good. I have a few like team stats about them. Out of 358 D1 teams, they're 22nd in rebounding, 11th in assists, 9th in assists to turnover ratio. So they don't turn the ball over that much. And then they're 14th in blocks. So they're good in all statistical categories. So
yeah, that like help you win games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't think there was much to say. I think we both seen this coming.
Yeah.
I think like, especially after Illinois' last game, it was so obvious like how they're like not good offensively.
Mm-hmm.
And like Houston's defense, like I feel like they're just like a perfect matchup. Like they're so good, and like the way they collapse and like, you know, like don't let people go up, like I feel like they don't give away no easy buckets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
for sure. Moving on to the next one. My team, Michigan, upset Tennessee 76-68. And you actually called it too. You know, I was reading out how wild like Tennessee's 3-point percentage was in their last few games. They've been like sky high. And then you said, hey, maybe that just means they're due for a bad game.
Yeah.
And I think they shot really bad. I don't remember the exact stats.
Tennessee shot 2 from 18 from 3.
There you go. Yeah, so they shot terribly. And then Hunter Dickinson had another huge performance. He's been like this all year, even last year. He had 27 and 11. So he could be a mismatch problem for Villanova in their next round. But Villanova also plays good D. But we'll talk about that later. Any thoughts on this game for you?
Yeah, so on the pod, I said Tennessee, but then the day of, I bet Michigan with you because I think they're really good value underdogs. They're like higher than the 11 seed. Like when I look at them, I don't look at them as an 11 seed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one thing that's kind of concern about Michigan, even though they played really good D, and like honestly, Tennessee just the way they shot was just like you can't win games shooting 2 from 18 from 3. But yeah. Michigan had 15 turnovers, which is kind of concerning. I mean, Tennessee does have a good defense, but they definitely need to clean that up, especially against Villanova. Because if they turn over 15 times against Villanova, I don't think they'll win. But we'll talk about that later.
I agree.
But yeah, sure. Michigan, good win.
Moving on to Villanova, who beat Ohio State 71-61. I don't have much on this game. We both I think we both had Nova. But I do want to take note. Obviously, Gillespie and Justin Moore are their 2 leading scorers. They averaged 16 and 15. But I think their X factor, if they want to run deep in the tournament, is Jermaine Samuels. So on the season, he only averages 10 and 6. But in the tournament so far, he's put up 15 and 9 in the first game and then 17 and 8 in the second game. So he's elevated those numbers a lot. I think he's a good stretch 4 for them.
Yep.
For sure.
I don't really have much on that game. Everything you said, I had no chance of Ohio State winning this game.
Yeah.
So I think it was kind of
just the better team. They make all the right plays.
Yep.
Moving on to the Midwest region. Kansas beat Creighton 79-72. So off the bench, Kansas's point guard, who transferred from Arizona State, Remy Martin, had 27 and 4. So that was a big game for him. And then I think also, like we said, Creighton's injuries. They lost Nemhard, who's the little brother of the Nemhard on Gonzaga. He fractured his wrist late in the season, and then they lost their 7-1 center in the last round. So I think those were two key losses, unfortunately, for them. So Kansas was just the better team.
Yeah. Providence, they shot good from 3. They shot 42% from 3.
Oh, 85%. This is the Kansas game.
Oh, I meant Creighton. Sorry. Creighton shot 40. Sorry. Creighton shot 42% from 3, 85% from free throws. They got to the line 21 times. Mm-hmm. They did the best they could. They're a good team, but I think we both knew just Kansas is better. And Kansas didn't even play that good. I think like their best players didn't even play that good. So like our boy Ochai, he shot 5 for 14, 1 from 3 from 15 points. He had 8 rebounds, which is good, you know. But I think Kansas could play better. We'll see. That kind of worried me how they played in that game. I thought I expected them to blow them out and like shut them down more, but we'll see. I think we both picked Kansas in that game, right?
Yeah, for sure. Next game was Providence versus Richmond. Providence won 79-51. I think this was the biggest blowout in the second round. Last episode, I just threw a little hook out there and just chose Richmond. I thought they were a good matchup for them, but Providence, their defense has been picking up lately. They shut down Iowa in the first round, and then now they shut down Richmond. They held Gilliard and Burton, their Richmond's 2 best players, to 3 for 18 from the field.
The 3 stat was crazy. Both teams shot 22 3-pointers. Providence went 12 for 22. Richmond went 1 for 22 from 3.
Jeez, there it is.
So yeah. But yeah, I think that's one of the things too. I said I honestly thought Providence. I think I picked Providence last time, and I said like I think Richmond and South Dakota State were like kind of similar teams, and they relied on the 3. And I just thought like Providence took care of business with South Dakota State. I don't see a difference with Richmond, and that happened. But I think Providence time's coming to an end, but we'll talk to that later.
For sure. Next game was, who was it? Iowa State.
Wisconsin
beat Wisconsin 54-49. So yeah, I said this on the last episode. Wisconsin's not a good team without Johnny Davis, and Iowa State did a great job shutting him down. He only shot 4 for 16 from the field and 0 for 7 from 3. Wisconsin as a team shot 30% from the field and only 9% from 3. And then Iowa State also struggled to score themselves. I put a little note here on the season. They've had 5 games where they've scored under 47 points. So that's an ugly stat. They have to be able to score the ball. So just keep an eye out for that as they move on in the tournament in the next game, if they move on after that.
Do you remember what we picked on this?
I think I chose Wisconsin. I think we both chose Wisconsin.
Okay.
But anything for you on this one?
Yeah, I think literally what you said about Davis in Wisconsin, that was true, and they shut him down. Yeah, I don't know. I swear on the last episode I said Iowa State, like
maybe
they're a good team.
I know I chose Wisconsin, but
I didn't bet them though. That's a scary bet. I wasn't confident.
I didn't bet on this one either.
But yeah, we can talk about our next game with Miami 79, Auburn 61. 10 seed upsetting a 2.
Yeah. I'm not completely surprised by this, because going into the tournament, Auburn had ugly guard play. And then on top of that, their best player had an ugly game. So when your whole team's doing bad, you're due for a loss. Jabari Smith shot 3 for 16 from the field and 1 for 8 from 3. And then another note I had was Miami only had 4 turnovers. So that's an amazing stat, taking care of the ball. So yeah.
Yeah, 30% from field goal range for Auburn. That's not going to cut it. even Miami didn't even shoot the three ball that good. They went 3 for 15, but 12 for 15 free throws. So they got the job done. But yeah, four turnovers is huge, especially against a team like that. But yeah, Jabari Smith like 3 for 16, 1 from 8 from 3. Not a good game, but
yeah. All right, so that wraps up round 2. Who was your biggest surprise of round 2 as far as team? Like,
I think the biggest surprise I wrote down were either North Carolina for a surprise for me.
it's a good one. Yeah.
I just the way they played, they were just they couldn't miss their swing and everything. Like they played so good in that game, even though they almost blew it at the end.
They look like they've been in the tournament before. I mean, and they have a lot of young players, so
yeah,
it's kind
they
of weird
played
to see,
so good. Like they were just outplaying Baylor. Like I know Baylor went on that run at the end, but the other one I put, I mean, it's kind of St. Peter's again, but I wasn't surprised because I bet on them and that's what I said last episode. I was confident, but I think just to the general public, that I have a feeling I think you're gonna go on one of the teams we just talked about, but.
So mine, I only put down one, but my team, Michigan, they even surprised me, to be honest, because I felt like Tennessee could even make a run, but they played a great game. Might even be their best game of the season, but yeah. And then next one, who was your MVP of round 2? We might have the same person for this
one. I think we're gonna both say, I don't know. I think I put two. I put Drew Timmy. I don't know if that's who you had, and then I put RJ Davis.
Oh, so you didn't have the same one as me.
30 points. On Baylor's D is so impressive. I just feel like he couldn't miss. And then Drew Timmy in the second, he just went. I mean, he just dominated. 14 boards, 10 for 16, 1 for 1 from 3. Are you gonna say Ben?
I was gonna go with Ben Mathurin.
Yeah, I have him as my third one, but yeah, I didn't want to say 3 of them, so I was like, fuck it.
Yeah,
because he honestly didn't shoot that good, but at the end of the game, that shot and he took over kind of.
Yeah, he showed up on the biggest stage, and I feel like he definitely. I mean, he was already going to be a lottery pick, but I feel like this improved his stock even more.
100%.
All right, you want to briefly cover our picks for the Sweet 16? So the third round.
All right. I don't have the. Do you have the betting odds on you or no?
I don't have the betting odds.
Yeah, I don't either. I could pull it up.
Yeah, you can pull it up if you want. The first matchup is going to be Gonzaga versus Arkansas. So it's a 1 versus 4 matchup. Without knowing the odds, I think I'm going to go with Gonzaga. But I want Arkansas to win. I know that's a really dumb thing to say when you think one team's going to win and you root for another team. But yeah,
I found the betting odds. So Arkansas is plus 9.5 on points. So Gonzaga minus 9.5. Money line 480 for Gonzaga and plus 350 for Arkansas. I kind of want to bet Arkansas, but I don't know. It's kind of scary against Gonzaga. I'm in the same boat as you. My brain's telling me Gonzaga is going to win, but my heart wants Arkansas to win. I don't know.
So here's the thing for me.
It could either go two ways. I think either Arkansas wins close with their free throws and Gonzaga's been struggling, or I think Gonzaga blows them out by 20.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think the matchup against Memphis was a lot harder because of their interior and how physical they were. And I was really high on Arkansas, and I thought the second round they were gonna clean it up a bit more and have a blowout game. So this kind of scares me, especially what's his name? Their center, Jalen. I forget his last name. Arkansas center. He's a good player, but I feel like he's gonna have a lot of pressure on him. With both those big guys down low. So I think this is a bad matchup. I do want Arkansas to win, but I think Gonzaga is a safe bet, to be honest.
Over under 155, which is kind of high. I'm kind of tempted to bet the under.
Yeah. All right, we can move on to the next one. Texas Tech versus Duke. This is a 2 versus 3 matchup. So actually, all the top 4 for the West, all made it. I didn't even notice that. So yeah, Texas Tech versus Duke. You have the odds pulled up for that one?
Yeah, Duke +1, Texas Tech -1, money line. Ooh. Texas Tech -115, Duke -105. So it's basically like a pick 'em. Over under 137.5. It's just tough. I don't know. It's kind of surprising. I don't know. Is it surprising to see Texas Tech favorited?
So a little note I wrote down. I saw a tweet that said Duke's average age for their starting 5 is 19 and Texas Tech is 22, and they have a bunch of transfers. So that's gonna be an interesting thing to take note of. I don't know. I like Texas Tech.
That's so test. I know. That's what I'm saying. And like Duke has squeaked by the last 2. They can't squeak by against Texas Tech. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like Duke barely. I hate doing it, but like bringing up the previous games, like Duke barely beating Michigan State. Yeah. And I'm like, when I look at it, I'm like, wow, Texas Tech is way better than Michigan State.
Yeah, but you could argue that too, that Michigan State was better than Notre Dame, and Notre Dame kept it close with Texas Tech.
I think it's gonna come down to Paulo, like if he takes over or not. Like if Texas Tech's defense can stop him, I wonder if they'll just like put their primary focus on them.
That too, they're gonna have a size advantage in the down low because Paulo's like 6'10", and then they have Mark Williams who's like 7 foot. Texas Tech has Obenor and Bryce Williams, I think, and they're both like 6'8". So I mean, we'll see, but I don't know if I'm going to bet on this. Ooh, yeah, I think both of the West regions are. I don't know if I'm going to bet on it yet, but right now, if you get a gun to my head, I'd probably lean Texas Tech. Anything for you right now? Gun to your head?
I don't know. Give me. Oh my God, Texas Tech.
All right.
But I don't know. I might check our socials. I'll try to like post like if we do like game time, because this might come out before the games actually come down, and who knows, like some of the news could change. As of right now, Texas Tech. That's a tough one though. That's a tough one.
For sure. All right, the next one. This is the East region. We got number 8 North Carolina versus number 4 UCLA. You can take this one first. I don't know. Or do you have the odds?
I'm trying to find it.
Do you know what time we started too?
Yeah, we're at an hour and 3 minutes.
Okay.
So we're almost close to then. The live betting odds are UCLA is favorited by 2.5 -140, and North Carolina is +2.5 +120, over under 141.5.
Might take under North Carolina plus points, to be honest. They put up, 95 and 93 against the Baylor defense.
Yeah. But UCLA woke up on defense last game.
They did.
Part of me wants to say like North Carolina is at their ultimate high, and UCLA is like you're getting good value, I feel like. So I think I'm going to take UCLA.
For sure. Well, I'll lean North Carolina right now. Again, like you said, B said, you're going to have to follow our socials to see our closer to the game time bets.
Yeah, but honestly, I think every single day since we've started recording, we've hit a parlay. One of us.
Yeah, one of us. Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, it's every day on there. Literally, you'll see one of us hit something. So, follow the socials if you don't. The Sus-pod on Instagram and Twitter. Well, we need to post more on Twitter, but our Instagram will be live. So yeah.
All right, next game, one. 3 versus 15. It's Purdue versus St. Peter's. I know we talked about rebounding. St. Peter's, you said, did a good job on the boards last game. Purdue out rebounded Texas. I think it was 41-28. And Texas is a pretty big team, so I think St. Peter's has to capitalize on that again. I'm gonna lean. I don't want to fade St. Peter's again because this is gonna be a bad look. But I don't know.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go. I know.
I think
you're going
yeah. I can't go against St. Peter's. Honestly, though, I think this is probably the worst matchup with Purdue's big men. But I think I'm going to take St. Peter's plus 12.5. I think that's a lot of points, especially because I think they could win outright. So I'll probably sprinkle a little.
Oh, that's the 12.5 is the spread?
Yeah, 12.5 is a spread. And then they're plus 600 money line. Purdue's minus 950. But, I mean, those numbers with anyone against St. Peter's, I don't know. I know the last two people have probably bet against St. Peter's, like bet probably big, and they think, they're going to get killed and they lose that money. So I don't know. I think I'm going to take the points. I think 12.5 is a lot of points. And then I think I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on like their money line plus 600. I think that's crazy value for
sure
how hot they've been.
Yeah, I might take the points too. I might even buy it up. So a lot of the times,
yeah, that's true. You could get probably like 14.
I know like professional bettors don't
points.
do this a lot because you lose value in it. But when I'm building parlays, I kind of, if I'm not comfortable with the spread, I buy up or buy down the points just to make it even a wider margin. Just to make it a little safer because you never know with these games with like free throws and
At
all
the end
those
of the
types
game.
things.
Yeah.
So I usually buy the points up or down. As long as it's like below minus 200, I still like that value.
Yeah.
So I might
especially
buy this up
sometimes
to like,
if you get like a lot of points in like maybe like a 2-team parlay,
mm-hmm.
with like another team you're confident in. So
yeah. So like for example, for this,
smart.
I might buy it up to like 14 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll lean St. Peter's with you again. If I'm wrong on this one, so be
You're
it.
gonna be the reason
I don't want
to.
I don't want to fade them. I don't want to fade them 3 times in a row. So we'll move on to the next one.
Now that you like them, I might have to switch to Purdue.
I don't like them. I just can't fade them again.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they win again?
Dude.
Who sorry, I know it's off topic, but if they win again, they would play
UCLA
and North Carolina, which are both, I think they could beat.
I mean, yeah, they could.
Like if they win against UCLA and they just beat Purdue, that would be crazy. Like it's not like they're going against like a 1 seed, you know what I mean? Like all the top 1 seeds already lost. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the South region, we got 1 versus 5. I think this is gonna be a great game. Arizona versus Houston. Do you have the spread for this one?
The spread for this,
it's probably gonna be like 5 or something, huh? 3.
Is it out yet? Oh, Arizona minus 1.5.
Oh,
minus 130, and then plus 110 for Houston. The over under is 145. I feel like that's kind of high.
Over under 145. I mean, they can both score the basketball though.
Yeah. God, this game is such a good game. This is a game where I don't even want to bet. I just want to admire.
I like Houston because they're a well-coached team and they play really good team basketball. I don't know. I think I'll probably lean Arizona because I just think they're the better team, but I want Houston to win. I'll lean Arizona for now.
The worst is if you bet like the under or something, it goes to OT. Because I feel like it'll be such a close game that like it could easily go to OT and that will just like ruin the under. 145, 130. Dude,
imagine if I know we talked about this a lot, and it can go for any of the teams who've had injury bugs, but imagine if Houston had Tremont Mark and Marcus Sasser, like we talked about.
Like they're 2 of their best players.
That'd be wild.
Especially, or like even if they're coming back and then like they get this matchup. I don't know. I hate Arizona's point guard. I feel like Houston will just.
So that makes you want to choose opposite.
That literally makes me want to choose the opposite. Like Arizona had me in agony. That I think I'm gonna take Oh my God. And like if you even buy points, I don't even know if it's worth buying points for Houston. I'll take Arizona. Houston. Who'd you take?
I took Arizona, but that's a lean for now. It's
Yeah,
not
I
an
might
official
switch.
pick.
I might switch. Right now, I'm gonna take Arizona, but I might switch.
These are
Well,
probably all leans for us, to be honest. So
yeah,
if you really want to know our picks, we already
except
said
St.
it. But
Peter's.
anyways, moving on to the next one. 11 versus 2, Michigan versus Villanova. We have a 6'10" and a 7-foot guy down low. Villanova, I think their center is like 6'9" or 6'8".
Do you want to know the betting odds? What do you think they are?
I think Michigan's probably like 5.
Yeah,
Plus
plus
5.
5.5. So right on the dot. Plus 180 money line. Villanova's minus 220 and 5.5 over under 135. I'm thinking about like maybe I think Villanova might be the play.
The spread or money line?
I'm thinking Villanova money line minus 220 and then St. Peter's like buy points and get them up to like plus 14 on like a 2-team parlay.
Cheeky 2-teamer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I might split this.
I feel like you have to ride Michigan, right?
I'll probably on a big parlay I'll do Michigan spread, and then on a safe parlay I'll do Villanova money line. Side note too, this is a rematch of the I think 2018 national championship.
Yeah.
That Michigan lost. So this will be a fun one, but yeah, I'll lean Michigan spread, but
I'll take Villanova money line. That'll be mine.
I'll take Villanova money line then too.
Yeah.
As a for sure pick, official pick, but I'll also take Villanova or Michigan spread. Anyways, moving on to the Midwest region, we got 1 versus 4 in Kansas versus Providence. You're probably going to be surprised by my pick, but I'm going to take Providence in this one. Actually,
so the points are 7.
Whoa, 7 for who?
Providence plus 7.
Oh, plus 7. Yeah, I'm probably going to take that then.
Kansas minus 7. The Kansas minus 7 worries me, but the money line's 330 plus 265 for Providence. Over under 141. Part of me thinks this will be like a low scoring game. I'm gonna say the under 141.5, and I'm also gonna say Kansas. I think Kansas wins money line. Maybe I'll throw that in my parlay. I don't know. They didn't play that too good, and Providence. I think Providence is at their all-time high, and I think Kansas hasn't played their best. So I'll take that'll be mine.
Sure, I'll probably take Providence with the points. Moving on to the last game of the Sweet 16. Yeah.
A parlay would Loki like an underdog parlay would be crazy of like Michigan, St. Peter's, and Providence.
In Houston? Or are they
in Houston or yeah. But I was just saying like those 3 or like mix and match,
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Last game 11 versus 10 in Iowa State versus Miami. I'm probably gonna lean Miami for this one. I'm not bought into Iowa State.
2.5. Loki, I feel like a good bet. Like I feel like that's not that many points. You could even buy it down to like 1.5 or 1. 145 money line, which is also pretty good too. Over under 133. It's so weird seeing 11 and 10 at this part of the tourney.
Yeah. We said this was the worst side of the bracket.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, like whoever wins between Providence and Kansas, I think they'll probably move on and beat the next team. But I'm actually gonna take Iowa State.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm gonna take them plus. I'm gonna try to get that points to like plus 3.5.
Nice. All right, so that wraps up our leans for the Sweet 16.
You're taking Miami?
Yeah, I'm taking Miami.
Okay.
So we're gonna get into a little game like we usually do at the end of our episodes. So for this one, it's who will have a bigger impact in their first year with their new team. So the first one is Khalil Mack on the Chargers and Chandler Jones on the Raiders. Who do you think will have a bigger impact?
I think the bigger impact will be Chandler Jones on the Raiders. I could say why after, but I'll let you go.
I agree.
I think the Raiders nailed this offseason. I mean, their whole division got crazy better, but I think they got crazy better. And I think one of the things they lacked on their defense is maybe like upgrading the secondary a little, which I think they did already and they'll keep doing. But I think I said this before, but getting someone on the opposite side of Max Crosby, and like they're both equally dangerous off the edge. Khalil Mack hasn't like wowed me the last couple of years in Chicago. And
I think he's been injured a couple times too.
Yeah. And the Chargers defense hasn't wowed me either. When I watched them in that playoff game against the Raiders, it just like I feel like their offense was the only one. Like Herbert was literally like just making plays. So I think the Raiders will probably have a better year. So I think Chandler Jones would be a reason why.
Yeah, we had Yannick Ngakoue, who was a good pass rusher. But then we let him go because he didn't fit our new scheme with the 3-4. And Chandler Jones and Max Crosby are two big dudes who can fit that scheme. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think I'm gonna go with Chandler Jones.
Right,
so for the next one, go
ahead. Russell Wilson on Denver and Deshaun Watson on the Browns. I think these are two like the biggest free agent or quarterback just
signings.
Yeah. So who do you think will have a better
impact? I'll say Deshaun Watson will have the bigger impact because sitting out a year, he's probably going to be really hungry.
So he wants to probably prove everyone wrong so bad.
And also that division's a lot less competitive than the AFC West is, so he could easily have a bigger year, bigger impact than Russ.
Steelers defense got better. Ravens, Lamar. We'll see. Ravens. I don't know. Who's the other team? What am I missing?
Bengals.
Oh, Bengals. Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go the opposite. I think I'm gonna take Russell Wilson. I feel like Broncos have like really done good on getting good young receivers. Russell Wilson's just gonna hype up. One of the receivers I love, and people think I'll say like Jerry Jeudy, but it's not. It's KJ Hamler.
Oh,
not him either.
KJ
Hamler. Yeah. So they got him. He was like one of my favorite like underrated receivers coming out of like the previous draft. I think he tore his ACL this year, which we'll see. But I mean, if he recovers like good, he's such a deep threat and like speedster. I feel like with Russ, he'll just make so many big plays. He has to work on his hands a little bit. He had a lot of big drops last year, but he also made a lot of plays. And that defense for Denver to me is just getting like way better and scarier. And I think, like everything's set for Denver to explode. That division's tough though. But I don't know. Part of me is like Deshaun Watson. Like, I don't know. I'm not sold on the Browns. So that's why I took Russ. I think Russ is just like a proven. And just
I'm
like
with you.
Seeing Russ in my
I'm not sold on the Browns either, but I'm saying that he has
Deshaun
room
Watson's
to have
so
a
hungry.
bigger
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
Yeah. And like that team, I mean, but on it, like that team for the Browns, like right now, and they're not even done yet, is like way better than any Houston team that Deshaun's had.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Russ, like, dude, like him being in the same division, like, good luck for you, bro. Like, he's so painful to play against, like the plays he makes, and like when you think you have him down, he'll just scramble and like throw a fucking touchdown. Like, we'll see, but yeah,
he's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But not anymore. No, just kidding. I still like him. But all right, the last one we have is wide receivers. So we got Juju to the Chiefs and then Allen Robinson to the Rams. Who do you think will have the bigger impact?
I think Juju to the Chiefs.
Ooh.
I think he'll be like another just like the Chiefs offense is so like scary. Like Tyreek Hill, you have to put so much focus on, and then Travis Kelce, like Juju has like literally he'll get the worst defender on the field probably to guard him. And that just like Patrick will give him balls like like places he'll like he can go up and get. I think that was a good move for Juju. I think like people will hate him more because like he's gonna be with like Mahomes and like Mahomes' brother and like TikTok and everything. But I think this was probably his best move for like receiver stats. Like he might not get all the targets, but he'll make a lot of big plays at like big games and like nationally televised games, and like so many people watch the Chiefs and like they're gonna win. They're probably favorites to win the Super Bowl, or you know what I mean, like they're top 3 favorites. So I think he'll get a lot of chances. The Rams, even though they just won, I don't know. I just don't like the Rams. I don't think Stafford's that good.
I'm gonna go with the opposite. I'm gonna go Allen Robinson because obviously they got rid of Robert Woods. They probably won't be bringing OBJ back, so he's gonna be that number 2 guy for them. Juju's gonna be the number 3 target on their on the Chiefs. So I think Allen Robinson will have a bigger impact. Also, he's still only 28, I think, and coming from the Bears, who were
he
terrible.
hasn't had like any quarterback really play.
Yeah, I feel like this will like rejuvenate him and like make him want to play better, and I think he will. So that's my pick. That wraps up our game for who will have a bigger impact, and it concludes our episode 3. So thank you guys again for tuning in, for showing us love on all the socials. Yeah, we put out 3 episodes in what, like less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, crazy. A lot of, I mean, we've been hitting on a lot of our bets too, which helps. A lot of people have been liking our bets on our like socials, so tune in to that. The Sus Pod on Instagram. We need to post more pics on Twitter. But yeah, a lot of people, if they ask us, we'll give them our opinions. But yeah, gamble responsibly, and I think that wraps it up. We need more people to give us ideas and things to talk about. Right now, it's been easy because we have so much things to talk about in the sports world. But yeah, we'll probably post another episode after the next round.
After Sweet 16. So probably, what is that? Thursday, Friday night maybe, because I think Saturday is the Elite 8, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, so we'll I mean, we get these out. We'll grind to get it out. Like right now, it's 2 a.m. and we're recording. So
yeah. So thank you guys again. All right,
love y'all. Get a bit.